Crypto Dave in the house. Dave, are you well?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. The prices are green, so it's always a good day. How
Right,
about
you're
you?
doing really well, aren't you? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. We lost my
yeah,
connection, but I'm back there. But yeah, it's been decent, mate. It's been decent. So let's get into it, right? Let's just do
yeah.
this. Hang on.
Yes.
There's something wrong with my laptop here. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so there's been a big uplift in prices recently. So what's driving that in general? Why are we seeing such a big? Because it's not just Bitcoin, it's Ethereum as well, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of price action going on, and it's really hard to pin down exactly what's happening because it happens so quickly. So I think a lot of people are trying to find actions of why it is happening, what is happening. Some speculation. I'm not sure if you've been following Elon Musk Twitters. Oh, Paul, are you still there? Did I lose you? Paul, hello, Paul.
There.
All right, Paul, you're back
All
up.
right, mate. Sorry about
No worries, all good.
that. Yeah, so you were chatting about Musk. Musk has been what's Musk been up to in the Twitterverse then?
Oh yeah, he's selling 10% of his Tesla stocks.
Yeah, I've seen that. Now there's two schools of thought, right? There's a school of thought that he's doing it because the UN said something along the lines of if he sold 10% of his stock that he'd be able to end world hunger. So he went to Twitter and said, "Should I sell my stock?"
Yeah,
And then the other school of thought is to do with the taxes or something, right?
yeah. It has to do with this really crazy 1 point something trillion dollar infrastructure bill that Biden pushed out. And I think it has a clause in there saying like you actually have a certain amount of assets and it's unrealized, basically you hold it in paper and don't sell it, you can still be taxed for it. So if you have a house that's worth 100K and next year is worth 200K, you can get taxed on the 100K increase in terms of value, even though you didn't sell it yet. That's called unrealized gain tax. Basically, it's something never heard of, and it's supposed to only tax the really, really rich people, the billionaires. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so Tesla CEO Elon Musk put on Twitter saying, "Should I sell my 10%? I'll let Twitter decide." So people are saying, "Oh, maybe he pumped the money he cashed out into Bitcoin, and the price increased." Some people are saying because it's Q4. Usually, during Q4, we see prices increase. Usually leading up to Thanksgiving, usually we see a huge pump. I think it's
Okay.
on November. But people are still trying to find the answer exactly what's caused the pump in general. But it's pumping. It's pumping. But if you look at the stock to flow model, which I'll share my screen,
Please do.
Everybody looks like likes the stock to flow model. Sharing. He predicted in August and September will close the month at $47,000. So basically, last trading days will close at $47,000. September will close $43,000, and actually happened. In October, he projected, I think $63,000. It closed at $61,000, so a 3% rounding error, right? So very close. Now, the projection into November and December, the projection for November is $98,000, and December will be about $135,000. So game on.
Game on. Game on. And is there any underlying reason why we're seeing these huge jumps? Why I think we saw a record high for Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks, right? Or is it like you're just saying it's a bump? We're getting close to Thanksgiving. This is just the way things are.
Yeah, it's again the stock to flow model is basically based on how many Bitcoins are being mined, the difficulties of mining it, and the demand that we're seeing, right? And demand can be measured in different ways of buying it up actually on the price itself, or you can see in terms of the number of transactions, or how many wallets are being created as well, or how many people are actually mining the Bitcoin. So many ways to look at that. So looking at a very analytical way of how much is being produced versus what the demand is, and from there you can base a model off of something that's finite in terms of how much you can produce, that's gold and Bitcoin. So it has nothing to do with seasonal stuff, blah, 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 nothing external, but more kind of analytical based on, supply and demand essentially.
Excellent. And we've spoken about the stock to flow model in the past, and it's always been there or thereabouts. So this is really encouraging, particularly when you look at that six figures at the end of this year. That would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. So go on. Sorry, Mike.
No, yeah. So we will see. I think we're a good start to November. We actually hit it on high today or yesterday. I forgot, $68,000 thereabouts. I think we're $70,000 is just at the cusp. So once we hit $70,000, I think the media will go crazy again. It could be another FOMO session, and when FOMO happens, things really jump, right?
No, I know, mate. I know. And talk about FOMO. There was a subtle. Well, I don't think it was a subtle change. Facebook's changed its name, right? So what's going on there, and why is that important to the cryptocurrency world?
Look, I think what's really important for the cryptocurrency world is the whole metaverse is a crazy concept, right? It's
Yeah,
like very much like a matrix kind of concept where you're, as you mentioned before. What was the show that you mentioned already?
Black
Uh,
Mirror. Black
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 Mirror,
Mirror. Yeah,
right? You're in this room, in this place, in reality, like in physical reality, is completely different from what you see in the world. And essentially, it's going to be kind of like that, right? Remember, I'm not sure how many years ago, 4 or 5, 6 years ago, the whole Google Glass thing came, right? You basically
yeah.
can see reality, then you flip it on, and you can kind of see things in kind of virtual reality in combination reality, right? It's kind of crazy. Um, Essentially, the metaverse is going to start doing something like that, right? You have reality, and then you have you yourself in virtual reality, and we have glasses, and you can kind of flip it, and all of a sudden you can see everybody kind of wearing their virtual goods or virtual kind of things hanging out everywhere and stuff like that. So you kind of have this flipping back and forth between reality and virtual reality, which we call metaverse essentially in combination. And the interesting thing about it is, virtual world means that everything is being powered by virtual currencies, right? There's lots of virtual currency out there. Is it Bitcoin be the one of them? Definitely will be one of them, of the many currencies you kind of exchange for goods and services within um, the metaverses itself as well. And we talk about the whole thing about NFTs, 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 NFTs.
Yeah.
NFTs is one way to bring goods and services alive in the virtual world. So, Paul, I'm not sure if this is your generation. Remember Pokemon?
Pokemon. Well, mate, I remember Pokemon, but I was probably a little bit too old for Pokemon when it first came out. But yes, I remember Pokemon. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember them.
Okay. So when I was in high school, Pokemon was actually interestingly in the US, a big thing. And like we used to watch animes of people battling like Pokemon, like,
Yeah,
oh, there you go, and then there were fights and stuff like that. And then as an offset of that, they created card games, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
you can use the cards in battle. Obviously, it's not the same thing as what you see in anime. But there's a resurgence of something like Pokemon, right? People my generation now who grew up on it now have money and really like want to play with Pokemon again and start collecting these cards. So these Pokemon cards actually have a very high premium. One of the most expensive Pokemon got sold recently was sold for $375,000, right? And now they're going to be making digital versions of these Pokemon cards in very limited editions on NFTs, right?
Oh, I see.
Right? And Disney too, like Disney going to start dropping characters, NFTs in a very limited edition. Now, what's really interesting about it is you can start using this in the future, using these NFTs within the metaverse itself, right? So maybe you have a Charmander, and then you have it as an NFT, and you go into this metaverse, and then you walk down the street with a kind of Google Glass thing, and then you flip it down, and you see someone, hey, he has another Pokemon, Squarzar, I don't know what they're called, Jigglypuff, whatever they're
Don't
called.
lie. You know exactly what they're called. You've just
I know. No. But the thing is, now you can actually go into a real battle, right? Because you have this metaverse. You hold these things, Pokemon, these NFTs. Now you have this kind of virtual, glass that's kind of playing between the metaverse and the virtual and reality. And then you see someone with another Pokemon. They can say, "Hey, I'm gonna battle you." Then you can just do the throwing thing, and then the Pokemon pop up in the metaverse, and then you're wearing glasses, and the other person is physically there as well. And he throws his Pokemon, and you guys are battling it out. It's right in the middle of the road.
Do you, look that for me? I love that. I love that analogy. I love the fact how close you can get in terms of how because I was brought up on. I was brought up on the PlayStation 1 where you had to bring your friends around to
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
two players, right?
yeah.
But I guess and I don't want to get too deep into this, but I guess from a humanity standpoint or a human being, human race standpoint, do you worry that the metaverse or whatever it turns out to be could distract people from living quote unquote normal everyday lives and they want to spend more time, if not every waking minute, in the metaverse when they can be whatever they want to be.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I don't 100% buy into this idea of myself as this way of living, right? My own
Yeah.
way of living is I want to go off the grid. So I
Yes.
want the whole cryptocurrency is the way to go off the grid completely and say, screw the system. I'm not interested in playing this game right now. I'm going to go live my own life, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But on the other side, NFTs have this whole thing. You can go into the metaverse and go very, very deep into it, or something like being able to, as a creator, to start to monetize your own goods and services without needing like a big auction house to do it for you. Right? You go directly to the source of the goods. You can monetize on digital goods, and as the world is getting more digitalized, your goods all should be increased in terms of value as well. So there's lots of ways of looking into it. So I completely understand where you're coming from. I don't really like it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason why Facebook wants to go into the metaverse, because they understand, okay, I got these people really into Instagram, really into Facebook. They live their life on the social media. They live their life to have the next great Instagram and have 1 million likes. The next way into that is to go virtual, right?
Yeah.
People more hooked into it. So do I agree with it? Personally, no, but it's going that direction.
Yeah, and I think the salient point is it's going to happen anyway, right? You've got to look at, even now there's a lot of people, particularly my generation, who don't necessarily like mobile phones. They
Yeah,
feel that the younger generation spend a lot more time on the mobile phones.
yeah,
There's no point in fighting it. That's just the way it is, right? You just have to accept it and you go, right, look, that's the way the generations are these days. They spend a lot more time on devices. Whether that's good or bad is up for discussion. I am in no place to answer that at
yeah,
all. But
yeah,
it's the way the world's going. So as you rightly say, whether you like it or not, you just have to go, look, it's coming, and whether you get into it or you don't go into it is entirely up to you. It's Look, from a purely technical standpoint, it's fascinating to see how far we're coming and how quickly we're coming, right? Purely taking out the human being side of it, the humanity side of it. It's amazing to see what we can do now with technology and how far it's come. Um, does it make it right? Does it make it wrong? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that, but it's fascinating to see where it may go, right? It's
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. But look, one thing I have to say about NFTs, and this is for you and the general audience and stuff. I think there's very interesting NFTs coming up. I
Yeah.
wasn't a fan of it, but there's very interesting ones. It would be, you can kind of equate it to having like a very rare like rookie version of Michael Jordan card, for example, right? That generation
Mm,
probably understand how come it's so expensive to buy a single card, right? Generation before us, or a couple of generations before us,
yeah, yeah.
we saw the value time. Getting NFT that's very, very rare. That's a rare drop from one of these famous people. You can kind of equate it to a rare drop from like your favorite artist or favorite sports player, blah blah blah. So I think it will create value, and I think it makes sense to look into it, and it could create a generation value if you're gonna get the first drop, NFT drop of, I'm not sure who's a famous soccer player, Ronaldo.
Uh, Ronaldo, yeah, or Messi, or Beckham, or somebody like Zidane,
Yeah,
right? Somebody like
yeah.
that, yeah.
This is going to be worth a lot of money in 10, 20 years from now, right?
Mm.
Um, so obviously, if you look into NFTs, look into getting something that you already know very well, something that you're already passionate into, and see if you can find a couple of drops there from your favorite athlete or artist or band, whatever that might be.
So I guess then there's two ways to make money in NFTs, right? The first way is to create your own, like we did a couple of weeks ago with Aya, where you can mint it. Or
Yeah,
the second way is what you're talking about there, is actually go to these auction houses and find a kind of niche market that maybe you're into, whether that's fishing or whether that's golf or whether that's chess, and know that it's going to, know in about 5 or 6 years' time that that's going to be worthwhile. Then you buy that NFT and just hold all, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you're artists, I would say try your luck. But at the same
Yeah.
time, if you have a little bit of free pockets, cash sitting around, try your luck in another one too. You start early. Getting NFTs actually is a bit cumbersome for the regular man and woman down the street. So if you can, the fact that you understand it, you can get into it, it already means that you're still early.
And in terms of, I don't know, average is a horrible word, but in terms of average starting prices, how much can you buy like an NFT for? You know, for like for me, an average man in the street who doesn't, who lives paycheck to paycheck, how much could I buy an NFT for?
You can buy it for very cheap, but if you're looking to buy some really rare ones, it can go from like some initial Spider-Man drop for $500 or $100. Then and it's sold on second market for $11,000, and then if you can sold on second market again, who knows? It could be 100, 200, 300K. It just the price
Mm,
goes up crazy. So
okay.
you guys have a sweet deal, be there at the right place at the right time, and hopefully you get it.
And in terms of buying an NFT, are the auction houses always open, or do you have to wait? You know, the online ones. Can you go in at any time, or do you have to do it when there's like an auction on?
I know there's open market there. Open Sea
Okay.
is one that's open 24/7. There's very specific ones that are open for a short period of time, but yeah, most of those ones here are accessible. They're open 24/7. They might have
Excellent.
special times for drops.
Yeah.
So you need to look into that as well.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to start doing that. I'd like to create my own NFT, but I can't draw for toffee. My grand, God rest her soul, she was an amazing artist, but it missed me. It skipped a generation. It went to my uncle, but not me.
No,
So, yeah, I think my brother can draw a bit as well. So yeah, but I think my way in is investment. All right, cool.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Dave. Um, anything else, mate? Anything
No.
else you want to share?
Let's see how this week goes. Maybe if it goes really crazy, up or down, we should have another urgent news flash. Yeah.
To be fair, you called it. You know, when we spoke about it going on the stock exchange, you called the bounce. Everybody was super pleased to see you called it. So I think you're right. If we see another rush this week, then let's quickly do another 5-minute session for everybody
Yeah,
and just share some
yeah.
light on what's going on. Cool. Guys, listen, if you got any questions, feel free to reach out. It looks like we're entering into a very busy and very exciting period for cryptocurrency, and I, for one, am very, very excited about what's going to happen. And I'm learning more and more from Crypto Dave here about NFTs, and I'm getting more and more excited about them too. So yeah, that's really good. Crypto Dave, thank you so much for your time, mate. And we'll either speak during the week or we'll be back on Tuesday with maybe some more interesting news. Now, thank you, mate. Take care, and thank you, audience.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.